Ready to delve. I have one of my favorite whiskies. What brand? Glenfarclas 25-year-old. It's one of my favorite whiskies. Well then, greetings, captains. In our fresh Waterline episode, we take a look at the new features that have been released since the previous episode and share our development plans for World of Warships in fall 2023. Sure.
Hello, Cap.
Wait, I can't full screen? It doesn't work full screen here. We have to go on YouTube.
Hello,
Okay, always promising start.
Captains, and welcome to the latest edition of the Waterline.
Greetings, Commanders! In this episode of Waterline, we will tell you about World of Warships development plans for the summer and autumn of 2023.
Disclaimer: no maritime fauna, whales, birds, or dolphins were hurt in the making of this video.
Oh, 20 seconds in, already feeling the cringe. Off the good stuff.
Spanish cruisers, the first full branch for destination in the game, appeared in testing in update 12.4. This summer, early access to this branch will begin.
In the summer, new superships will be added to the tech tree: British battleship Devastation and Soviet supercruiser Novosibirsk.
Novosibirsk has as good pen as Vermont, and they just in the recent, we covered the balance changes. In the recent patch note, they buffed the reload on it to 12.5 seconds. Petro has 14-second reload, so it's got faster reload and it has battleship penetration. Well, good battleship penetration, so yeah.
These two ships represent a continuation of the gameplay style of Conqueror and Petropavlovsk, respectively.
In future updates, we will introduce strategic operations, a new type of mechanic that will be used in various events. Each player participates in strategic operations individually, with no competition with other players. Visually, strategic operations represents a virtual battle map divided into areas. The player chooses one of the areas, after which they begin to earn capture points for completing combat missions. Once an area is captured, the player receives a reward and can move on to capturing other nearby areas. Areas will differ in composition and difficulty of combat missions, as well as rewards.
Construction of the Tier 10 Pan-Asian destroyer Lüshun.
Okay, but at least they learned from the last Waterline. They don't have the kids doing their edgy presentation. I like this a lot more, where they're just like straightforward to the point without the nonsense. So this is an improvement, Wargaming.
At the Taikoo dockyard will begin in the summer. Lüshun is armed with 4 130mm main battery guns, which due to their flat ballistics allow for easy long-range firing, but do not have high damage per minute. Unlike researchable Pan-Asian destroyers, she is equipped with standard torpedoes located in 2 5-tube torpedo launchers. They feature a large number of torpedoes per salvo, but a low range. The ship can also boast good concealment. In spite of her lacking engine boost, her arsenal of consumables is still pretty decent. It is made up of hydroacoustic search, smoke generator with short smoke screen dispersion time, and torpedo reload booster in different slots.
Okay.
As we shared in a previous Waterline, we plan to bring back the aircraft carrier.
Wait, so it doesn't have a heal? It's a copy-paste Nostra without heal. And without hydro. Just smoke and torp reload booster. No heal Nostra. That sounds really bad.
That were removed from the game in update 8.0, but with a distinct gameplay concept and new mechanics for their squadrons. The first mechanic is minefields. A player controlling these planes can place a minefield in a certain area on the map. Enemy ships and submarines take damage when they come in contact with mines and the mines explode. The second mechanic is airborne smoke generator. It creates a smoke screen behind the planes as they fly. The smoke screen can be quite long, but will quickly disperse. In one of the summer updates, we will introduce a special temporary battle type where players will be able to try out these mechanics on analogs of the already existing aircraft carriers in the game. Based on the results, we will analyze how we can bring these new mechanics with new aircraft carriers.
We continue to improve the visual and sound components of the game. In the near future, we plan to make the following changes. New inhabitants will appear on the maps: birds, underwater fauna, and the cherry on top, dolphins that can accompany your ship. 3 maps will receive new detailed textures, and there will also be improvements to some visual effects like water, shell hits, and shadows.
This is very cool,
Animations
but
for the unfolding of antennas and funnels on aircraft carriers will be added, as well as animations for funnels of French battleship. The quality...
this is all very cool, but man, you can't lay it up with mines and airborne smoke and then follow up with this. Like,
of most of the sound effects in
art
the
department is once again looking great, but why is it your only department that looks great?
game will be improved.
As we mentioned in the previous Waterline, we plan to improve the equipment section in the port. We will add a system of upgrade recommendation for each ship, similar to the commander's skills window.
At the end of the summer, we plan to update the insignia menu. In addition to the ready-made patches and emblems, there will be a new tab with the patch designer. This will allow players to create their own insignia by combining different pre-existing elements such as symbol, shape of the patch, and color of the edges, as well as customize the background color and select the texture. In addition,
I can
the
see how
rendering
this would
technology
backfire.
will be improved. The patches, including the existing ones, will look more realistic.
Warship strike activity, based on a classical battleship game, will return to World of Warships. There will be changes to the rewards, as well as to the ways of obtaining strike passes required to participate in the warship strike. As was said in the previous Waterline,
Why can't they make that PvP though? Like, I hate that the best way to do that is to do the auto battle. Just like you press auto battle in the AI fights. Just make, like, why not make it a part of PvP?
we plan to update the appearance of the settings menu and improve its usability. Operations will be added to the conditions of almost all combat missions. A special coefficient will be added for missions with those metrics that are easier to achieve in this battle type, such as damage or particular ribbons, so that the difficulty of completing such missions in operations compared to other battle types is at a comparable level.
Operations
This
means
summer will
celebrating.
improve the Twitch drop experience for all viewers. Players will be able to receive their drops instantly in the game after claiming them on Twitch, removing the need to relog into the game client if it's already running.
Great, but the Twitch drops are junk.
Hello, welcome to our temporary office in Belgrade. Why temporary? Because as we speak, Wargaming is putting together a new modern office equipped with everything we need to work hard and play harder. We'll definitely show it off to you, but not yet. In the meantime, we're here in the area of New Belgrade.
Spoke too soon,
and we're
man.
a bit crowded together.
You spoke too soon, man.
Here we have the World of Warships team, the Legends team, and even the tanks. And also some announced projects, but we're not ready to talk about them yet. And we're already more than 500 people. By the way, here are 2 views that you see in most of our videos. Here we have the best one, both a beautiful wall and an even more beautiful art department. And we also shoot sometimes here in the kitchen, with this beautiful wall behind me, some apples and oranges.
Play harder. Are they trying to tell us they're finally playing the game? Because I remember when Turi made that vid about counting how many devs actually played the game, and it was, what, 200 battles in 6 months or something?
This noisy coffee machine. In the new office, we'll have a dedicated filming studio, which means we will stop distracting these guys from working on their ships, and we'll be able to produce the same quality videos as we did in the past. And besides, we'll be able to diversify the quantity and quality of the videos produced. While we're on the topic, why don't you write in the comments section what kind of videos you would like to see on our official channel going forward? Well, our tour is over, but in the meantime, I will leave you with our general manager to tell you more about our future office.
Hello everyone, we are standing here in front of and listening the cars, okay? Hello everyone, we are standing here in front of our future Wargaming office in Belgrade. In just several months, this brand new cozy office will become a home of World of Warships team. More than 500 of our colleagues will do the full scope of game development, including 2D art, 3D art, programming, design, sound studios, and all the other things that building legendary games consist of.
Balancing?
Starting 6 months ago, we grew to more than 500 people and became the biggest game studio in Serbia. understanding that there is a lot of interest for our company from Serbia, with hundreds of people interested in our company on LinkedIn and other networks. We are more than happy to welcome you to visit us here, meet us, and maybe start working with us. Welcome, guys.
No balance, only release.
Early access to a branch of Soviet submarines will begin in the autumn. Their current gameplay concept gears them toward countering other submarines. Their acoustic torpedoes have low damage but good range and speed, and their standard torpedoes have high damage and range. Moreover, all submarines in the branch have player-controlled main battery guns.
In mid-autumn, a second branch of Japanese battleships
battery.
will appear in the game. It will consist of tier 8 to 10 ships that we have already...
Imagine thinking torpedo duties are still relevant. Imagine thinking torpedo destroyers are still relevant.
announced in the development blog. But in short, these will be battle cruisers with accurate and long-range Japanese guns, with calibers ranging from 410mm at tier 8 to 457mm at tiers 9 and 10.
We covered those.
These ships will have good concealment, but not the greatest survivability.
Bongo.
This early access will also feature the winning design of Yumihari camouflage contest in the form of a permanent camouflage for this new tier 8 Japanese
We
battleship.
voted on this earlier.
We
tonight.
want to thank all of you who participated in creating these fantastic designs.
This autumn, the game will feature two new superships, Italian cruiser Piemonte and American battleship Maine. They will inherit the gameplay styles of Venezia and Montana respectively.
Also this autumn, players can expect the traditional activities of the season. Our favorite game will turn 8 years old, and we will prepare a retro-style special event, a lot of rewards, and new content, including a new collection. We also want to thank those who took part in the voting to
8
select
years, so that surely means they'll fix artillery bugs finally. Right, Chad?
the ship for which we created the themed permanent retro camouflage. And of course, the most stylish event, Black Friday. What could be better than to stand on the helm of a luxurious black ship and sink the enemy? Do it with the backdrop of an epic song. My favorite is AC/DC's Black in Black. As for what ships will be added to the Black Fleet this year, stay tuned. Till then, try and guess in the comment section below which ships will appear this Black Friday.
As we announced in the previous issue of Waterline, we considered Airship Escort as one of the candidates to be added to random battles on a permanent basis.
No. Why do you ignore all the feedback? No one wants this to be part of random battles. Everyone wants it to be a separate game mode. No one wants it to be part of random battles. Stop putting it in random. I haven't heard anyone say, man, I wish Airships Escort was part of random battles. No. Everyone wants it to be a separate game mode. No one wants it in randoms. It doesn't fit randoms. Like, you queue up in something, some sort of long range. You queue up in a long range ship. You queue up in a Zuma, and you end up in Airship Escort. What the hell are you supposed to do? Suffer. Like, you queue up in Yamato, you end up in Airship Escort. What are you supposed to... No one wants Airship Escorts to be in randoms. Like...
The last iteration of Airship Escort was perceived quite well.
Of course, it
this
was
autumn,
fun.
we
It was
will
a
be
great
adding
game.
Airship Escort to random battles as a permanent mode after some polishing and tweaking.
This year, for Halloween, we plan to prepare a new Nightmare operation, which will be the final chapter in the confrontation between Italian forces and the ships of the Twilight Fleet. There will be a couple of interesting new mechanics as well, but more details on that later.
Remember the animated commanders that first
Remember that they test things during these fun modes. So whatever new mechanics we're testing are mechanics they want to add to the game. We tested subs in a Halloween operation. We tested mines in the April's 1st thing. And now we're going to test new things here.
appeared in Troubles in the Hot Tub event. As we saw, players appreciated them, and so did we. We are happy to announce that we are currently working on improving the animated commanders feature, and we plan to introduce such commanders in our game in future updates.
Bro, just collab with Azur Lane, give us Big Booba animated commanders, and buy the CEO another $1 billion mansion. Easy.
That's all for now. Good luck on the 7 Seas.
Stay tuned.
Oh boy, okay. Let's start covering. Let's start covering what they didn't cover. Okay, let's see. Earlier this year, American research, yeah. Wow. It feels like they've been around for so long. Probably because they're such suffering to play against. British subs. These things were terrible, weren't they? I played the I think these are pretty like awful. These Pan American light cruisers, aren't they? The line like doesn't do any damage. It's the gimmick line. Gdansk also just a terrible addition. Smoke radar, Mogador. Oof. How did they release this and this? This is like when they released St. Vincent and Yodo back to back. It's the same thing. This is the Yoda, this is the St. Vincent. It's like, what's wrong with you? Superships. Sekiri, Ushakov, Humphreys, Kunming. Airship escort. Yep. Lunar New Year. Collection was added. Trouble in the hot tub. Yep. And the worst part about Trouble in the Hot Tub, really, like the idea with Trouble in the Hot Tub was it was supposed to show how fun mines could be. But the game mode actively was worse because of mines. Because you could run in there and you could bounce around and like do fun things. But the second someone laid a minefield, you couldn't push. You just had to sit and wait for the mines to disappear. But they could keep spamming them, so you could never push. So, and you couldn't chase kiting ships because they just laid minefields behind them. Mines objectively even made the duck mode worse. I don't see how it can possibly work in the actual game. Dyson. Izumo exists. The original bathtub was fun, this wasn't. Yep. New map. Okay, the Breaking Seychelles. Pretty questionable map. In winter and spring, we had two themed adventure, Queens of the Sea and Inca Trail. Yeah, weren't both of these potentially interesting if it wasn't for all the tokens involved in this experience? Like, they ruined this with monetization. Update 12.3 introduce a new theme collection. Okay, new collection. New Convoy. Convoy is fun. Not as good as Airship Escort. But God forbid, imagine if people enjoy Convoy. Are they just going to slap that into random battles as well? Like, I'd be fine with them shitting down random battles if there was an actual game mode that mattered in World of Warships. But the problem is, if you're not playing clan battles, they've shitted all the other game modes. Like, everything else has become a meme. Brawl, complete meme, always been a meme, that's been fine. But Ranked has lost all its purpose. Like, Ranked has become such a tragedy. There's no real game mode for, like, where you can try unless you're playing co-op anymore. Or sorry, not co-op, clan battles. Introduction to unique upgrades. Venezia unique upgrade is actually fantastic. Holland is a tragedy. Petro one seems really bad. The Manfred one had to be nerfed because it was ridiculously overpowered. Changes to the domination. The starting points at the beginning as well as the number of points. Oh yeah, they had to change. People were dying too quick, the games were ending. So they had to change that. In update, we're going to increase the chances of this mode with its alternate settings being selected on the maps it's associated with. Okay. So higher chance of getting domination? I mean, you could just remove standard battle. Standard battle sucks in World of Warships. It's one of those game modes that works in World of Tanks but has absolutely no place in World of Warships. It's just a boring camp fest. Standard battles are won by which team camps harder. It's a terrible design. Okay, new types of missions. Update also welcome new naval superiority. Okay. Other changes, new interactive music for subs. A number of sound effects have been updated. Launching of torpedoes by surface ship. I actually don't like that new sound. I think it's kind of jarring. I don't like it. I haven't really heard anyone particularly like the new torpedo sound. Dropping of ammunition from all squadron types and Operation Small Caliber Attack Aircraft. Hissing sound of bombs. Sure. Honestly, the worst thing of this really is the launching of torpedoes. I'm not that big of a fan of it. The new update for UI import, that's a good change. It looks better now. It's a bit buggy still, but it's better than it used to be. Battle on. Yeah, turbo griefing, that's a good change. The post-battle statistics screen at the end of it will now open more smoothly. Oh yeah, we've seen that, where it doesn't like instantly pop up like there's a delay. Summer plans. Testing of Spanish cruisers commenced. This was the first branch of Spanish cruiser. Have we heard anything? I played against a bunch of these, and they've been really underwhelming. But I haven't fought Castilla, so I don't know how good it is. But the rest of the line has been very Superships, Devastation, Novosibirsk is potentially going to be really nutty. That's a supership we're probably buying, like, especially after the reload buff. Strategic operations. In the upcoming updates, we're going to introduce strategic operations, a new activity that we plan to deploy in various events in addition to combat missions. How it works: players select one of the regions, starting in capture points. Once a region, it's a World War thing. It's like a top-down RTS map, basically, with regions to click. The construction of Lüshun will commence. Lüshun is armed with 430 mm flat trajectory, making it easy to fire on long ranges. The damage per minute, however, isn't the highest. 2 quintuple torpedo torps with standard torps, distinguishing her from the research planation, and she can launch a decent number of torps with salvo, but their range is mediocre. Even though she has no engine boost, the ship has a decent set of consumables. Hydro. Oh, so it does have hydro. Hydro and smoke. So it's what? Tier 10 Tier 10 Siliwangi. Tier 10 Siliwangi. I don't think with the DPS, I don't think it's going to be a Loyang. This Loyang actually has good damage. I think it's going to be more like a Tier 10 Siliwangi. Mechanics for new aircraft carriers. Oh boy, here we go. As we mentioned in the previous edition of Waterline, we're planning to bring back the aircraft carriers that were removed from the game in update 0.8.0. They will return with a changed concept and new mechanics for the squadrons. Minefield mechanics. The player controlling the carrier's aircraft can place a minefield that activates after a certain period of time in a specific area on the map. Hostile ships and submarines take damage upon contact with the mine. The minefield completely disappears after a certain period of time or when a certain number of mines are destroyed. Yikes. Like, this is objectively just another way to deny pushing. Like, there wasn't enough mechanics that deny pushing. Pushing is already a pain in the ass. Now it's going to be even worse. I guess we needed more camping in World Warships. People are still playing too aggressive for wargaming. The aircraft will leave a smokescreen behind them as they travel along their route. It will cover vast distances, but disperse quickly. What does that exactly mean? Vast distances. Oh boy. One of the summer updates will bring a special temporary battle type in which players will be able to try out the new mechanics on analogs of aircraft carriers that are already represented in the game. This will enable us to test the mechanics on the live server with numerous participants and without affecting other battle types. Based on the results, we'll decide how to implement these new mechanics for aircraft carriers into the game the best way possible. Note that they're still they're willing to talk about what they're adding to CVs, but you know what's missing? You know what is still missing? When was it announced? Here it is. This has been completely quiet for a while, hasn't it? Mechanics testing. Remember? Or do you guys remember this? November last year. You know, when they were supposed to make AA more effective at defending your ship? Yeah. Haven't heard a word about that. I heard from the grapevine that he was actually quite effective in shooting down planes. So that would probably explain why they've removed that entirely. I guess AA is fine. AA is fine after all. I thought it's officially scrapped. Did it get officially scrapped? I didn't read anything about it. I thought it just quietly, like, was ignored. Okay, interesting. Visual and audio enhancements. We're constantly working to improve audio and visual components. Planning. The maps will get new inhabitants. New Dawn, Polar will get new hotel. Takes a Polar. These are the low-level maps. Okay. Visual effects, water, shell heat, shell tracers, shore, animations, art department. I mean, art department is one team I can still. I love art department updates. They're always like, "Hey, we made your game better looking." Sweet. Most, like 99% of the time, art department is good. I'd love for there to be an entire segment here of bugs and balance changes, or bugs and bug fixing. Bugs we plan on fixing this year, and like a whole list of artillery bullshit that they're gonna fix, but I guess not. I guess not. What about desync? What about server issues? No such thing, huh? We plan for improvement equipment section. Add an upgrade recommendation. Okay. You'll also be able to pre-install upgrades. Finally, that's good. That's actually a really good. So you don't have to fully install it. You can see what it gives you. That's actually a good change. Distinctive insignia. We saw that. Inspired by the classic game, Warship Strike will return to once players will have opportunity to engage in this minigame and earn barriers. This time the rewards are being revamped. But why is this not PvP? Like, who enjoys playing Battleship against an AI, especially when the best way of farming this stuff was to do the auto battle thing? Like, bro, just give us, let me PvP in this. That sounds like fun. More fun than mines from carriers, that's for sure. Rewards are being revamped. I wonder what that means. Usually that's corporate speak for the rewards are going to be worse. Okay. Special coefficient will apply to missions. Yeah. Can improve twitch drops. New ships. A branch of Soviet submarines will apply. S-21, L-20, and K-1. I have notifications paused for you guys. You currently view these boats as counter to other submarines. Create the problem, sell the solution? They're caustic homing torpedoes deal home, but have a decent range and are quite fast. Their alternative torps deal heavy damage and have a long range. Okay, what's the downside? Okay, what's the downside? Can I have torpedoes that deal heavy damage and have a long range and apparently don't really have a downside? I'm okay with this. In addition to torpedo tubes, all submarines of this branch are equipped with player-controlled main battery guns. Nice. I can't wait to be outgunned in a Shima by a DD or by a sub. That's gonna be a real experience. The downside is that they're coming to the game. I mean, that's a pretty strong downside. Holy shit. Japanese battleships. Oh yeah, this was Adatara and Bungo, where they somehow gave them 457s because of mega laziness. Oh well, more cruiser match, good concealment, average speed, and mediocre survivability. Okay, and improved. And they had the Montana hail, I think. Gesture of gratitude to all participants. We grant them early access to the winning entry implement in the game as a permanent canon. Okay. Italian cruiser Piemonte and US battleships main. Super Venetian, Super Montana. That's going to be interesting. Anniversary and Black Friday. Oh, I can't wait to see what scams we got going this Black Friday. Always an interesting time. I remember when Black Friday was a good deal. That time has long passed, hasn't it? The event will be held in a retro style. A sea of rewards and new content is heading your way. Oh boy. Is there anything better than taking helm? Taking the helm of a luxurious black ship and sinking your opponents. Now add some epic music. The legendary song Back in Black is a perfect match. Why do they keep talking about this? Are they doing some AC/DC collab or something? Are they gonna do some? They're talking about an 80s style. A retro style. Is it gonna be some AC/DC collab or something? You can expect more details. Join the Black Fleet. Okay. Airship escort randoms. No one wanted this. Halloween. New mechanics. Animated commanders. Yes. I'm glad they're at least doing this. Because of all the ways to monetize the game, animated commanders is a good way. Like, if it's anything that's just visual, sell the hell out of it. I don't mind. That's how you should do monetization. Visuals. Make shit look good. Make people want to pay for it, not because it's overpowered, but because it looks good. That's how you do monetization. So this could be interesting. But yeah, Jesus. I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Sheesh. Wait, what was the best parts then? What did I actually like? What did I actually like here? Dude, I don't want to be... What was good? This is things that are done. This is terrible, this is terrible. These are all terrible, terrible additions. Like, most of the things they've done are bad. Things that are coming, Super Petro, yay. Minefields. I guess we like the art department part. And we liked some, like, you can pre-install upgrades. That's good. Everything else seems kind of dog. Also, random battles getting airship escort. Art.